One of the main changes that the 12th Amendment made was that the electors had to vote for both a president and a vice president. They would name them on separately on their ballots. They would vote for the president, and then as you can see, it says in the last line, in distinct ballots, which means separate person was voted for as vice president. Part of this change came about because of some controversies in the election of 1796 and also in 1800. As you see on the chart, in the election of 1796, the person who got the most votes, John Adams, got 71 electoral votes, and Thomas Jefferson in second place got 68 electoral votes. So what ended up happening, based on the law at that time, John Adams became the president and Thomas Jefferson became the vice president. This was very unique because they were in different parties. As you can see, the third place winner, Thomas Pinckney, was the same party as John Adams. So not technically, but based on current law, he would have been the vice president. But because of the law at that time, it didn't work that way. Right, this image shows how close that election actually was. You see that 51% of the vote went to John Adams and 49% of the vote went to Thomas Jefferson. So it was a very, very close election. Now, we've had close elections like this in the not too distant past. But again, what was unique about this and what caused the law to change and the 12th Amendment was because what ended up happening was you had a president from one party and a vice president from a different party. And that's what the 12th Amendment changed. So Thomas Jefferson and John Adams, both great men, both had very different views, but they ended up having to coexist as president and vice president, and then ultimately in the next election Thomas Jefferson did become president. But just remember that the 12th Amendment was designed so that we wouldn't have these big conflicts and have different people from different parties being the president and vice president. So the main thing that the 12th Amendment did was change the way that president and vice president were elected. And as you saw from the previous slides, it got a bit confusing, and there were some tensions and difficulties with having people from different parties be president and vice president at the same time. And basically it has worked because since 1804, when this amendment was passed, that's the way that we've elected the presidents and vice presidents.